Hello, dear ANA community. What is the word meaning of Doshantara Prakopa? What do you mean by the actual application? How to apply this particular Doshantara Prakopa? In what way this is different from Dosha Kopa? And what is the rationale or the scientific background on understanding this particular Doshantara Kopa? We are going to discuss in this particular video. Dear community, put a thumbs up and spread this particular video to maximum number of true Nidana learners so that we can make a huge movement out of this particular small message. Don't forget to press the bell icon so that YouTube algorithms will be fetching you the right information for the right purpose at the right time. When you think about the term Doshantara Prakopa, so that refers to the Dosha Kopa itself, but it is not the primary dosha that is considered to be getting abnormally increased. It may be because of the other associated dosha that is going to get increased. So while knowing about this particular term, we need to know about the concept of Shadrasa and its Pancha Mahabhuta aspect and its impact on the dosha that has to be discussed first. So we are going to look into this description of the Rasa and Mahabhuta. Ashtanga Hridaya, 10th chapter, 1st shloka says, Shmambhognik Shmambhuteja Khavayvagnya Nilago Nilai Dvayolbanehi Kramadhutehi Madhuradi Rasodbhava. So this is the description available in Ashtanga Hridaya Sutrasthana 10th chapter, which says about the relation between the Shadrasa and Panchamahabhuta. The Arunadatta commentary says, Bhumi Jalabhyam Adhikabhyam Madhuraha, Kshma Agnibhyam Amlaha, Ambu Agnibhyam Lavanaha, Ka Vayubhyam Tiktakaha, Agni Vayubhyam Katukaha, Kshmanilabhyam Kashayah. The same description in Himadri commentary, पृथिवी उदकाभ्याम उल्बणाभ्याम मधुररसस्य उत्पत्तिः तेजः पृथिवीभ्याम अम्लस्य उदकः तेजोभ्याम लवणस्य वायु आकाशाभ्याम तिक्तस्य तेजो वायुभ्याम कटुकस्य वायु पृथिवीभ्याम कषायस्य. So that means each and every rasa will be having the dominance of the two Mahabhuta. So that is this is being depicted in this particular small picture. The inner one that is indicating the Shadrasa, that is Madhura, Amla, Lavana, Katu, Tikta and Kashaya. Whereas the outer circle depicting the Pancha Mahabhuta as such and its relation with the Rasa. For example, Madhura Rasa will be usually having the dominance of Prithvi and Jala Mahabhuta. Amla Rasa, that is having the dominance of Tejas and Prithvi Mahabhuta. Lavana Rasa is having the dominance of Jala and Tejo Mahabhuta. Katu Rasa is having the dominance of Vayu and Tejo Mahabhuta. Tikta Rasa, that is having the dominance of Vayu and Akasha Mahabhuta. And Kashaya is having the dominance of the Prithvi and Vayu Mahabhuta. So in this way, we are going to have the understanding of Pancha Mahabhuta and Rasa. Suppose you are taking the Amla Rasa substance. In that, the Tejo Mahabhuta is more than the Prithvi Mahabhuta. In that particular situation, there may be the abnormal increase of Pitta Dosha. Otherwise, if there is the Prithvi Mahabhuta is dominant than Tejo Mahabhuta, there may be the abnormal increase of Kapha Dosha as such. This is the overall understanding in terms of the Dosha, Mahabhuta and vitiation. Now, how to understand this particular concept? Let us look into the concept by the Amla Rasatva as such. How to determine whether the particular substance is having less Amla Rasatva and more Amla Rasatva as such. So here there are two examples. tomato and unripe mango. When you think about the consumption of this particular tomato, we may feel the sour taste or amla rasattva, but the degree of amla rasattva will be comparatively milder in case of the tomato, whereas unripe mango, so that is considered to be having the amla rasattva, but the amla rasattva is more in unripe mango when compared to the tomato. So that means in both the cases there may be the possibility of a pitta dosha prakopa, but the amla rasa which is having the less amla rasattva, there may be mild vitiation of pitta, whereas in case of the unripe mango there may be the more amount of or more degree of the pitta dosha vitiation may be possible. Now coming to the word Doshantara Kopa. The term Doshantara Kopa, this is being described in Ashtanga Sangraha as such. There are the various references here, so which are depicting the secondary dosha that is going to get vitiated as such. That is, or otherwise associated dosha that is going to get vitiated in the body as such. That is Doshantara Samsarge, Samsarga Dosha Apekshaya. So here Doshantara refers to the Samsargaja dosha, wherein that is associated dosha when compared to the primary dosha that is going to get vitiated. Doshantaramapi tatra anubalam bhavati asya. When you think about the dosha kopa and doshantara kopa, dosha kopa is having the pravara bala, whereas doshantara kopa that is having anubala, that is comparatively less bala when compared to the dosha kopa. The third information, swakarana dosha viparita dosha antarakarana tam ekada eva avasadayati. Swakarana dosha viparita doshantarakaranam tam ekada eva avasadayati. So that is the dosha that is having the other guna increase in the body, thereby there may be the possibility of the other dosha going to get increased in the body other than primary dosha. That is the word meaning here. Doshantarasya anubandhatvam. The same thing, that is doshantara that is having the comparatively less power when compared to the dosha kopa as such. Kadachit doshantara prakopeda. So that is the other dosha that is going to get vitiated as such. Ekatra avasthitopi vishishta doshantarena vihata prasaroyam doshantaram अनुगतोऽन्यम् इति एवं आदिना एकोपि दोषो नानाविध विकारकारः सम्पद्यते. That is nothing but the abnormal increase of the associated dosha along with the primary dosha. That is what is considered to be Doshantara Kopa. Let us look into this particular Dosha Kopa and Doshantara Kopa with one small example. Suppose here there is a person who is going to take the gobi manchurian. One plate of gobi manchurian he is going to take. Naturally, whenever if you take about the gobi manchurian, that will be having the three primary rasa: Katu, Amla and Lavana rasa. When you think about the Panchabhautika constitution of each of these rasa, Katu rasa that is having the Vayu and Agni Mahabhuta. Amla rasa that is having the Prithvi and Agni Mahabhuta, and Lavana rasa that is having the Jala and Agni Mahabhuta. When you are going to consider all these together, that means there may be the possibility of the abnormally increase, almost 3 times increase of Agni Mahabhuta that is going to get happen. So that means there may be the abnormal increase of Pitta. So here the Dosha Kopa will be Pitta. When you think about the Amla and Lavana rasa, so Amla rasa that is having the Prithvi and Agni Mahabhuta, and Lavana rasa that is having the Jala and Agni Mahabhuta. So that means, so here the Doshantara Kopa, so that is the other associated dosha that may be getting increased in the body, that could be Kapha dosha. because of the Prithvi and Jala Mahabhuta, and even much lesser quantity of the dosha that is going to get vitiated could be Vata dosha, that is actually the main constituent of a Katu Rasa substance. Of course, this may be this particular calculation may be possible if all the three rasas are in equal proportion. But in practicality, all these three rasas that may not be in the equal quantity, that means 33% each, that may not be present in that particular gobi Manchurian itself. There may be the possibility of varied concentration of either Katu rasa or Amla rasa or Lavana rasa. So based on that, the person may be having the primary dosha vitiation could be Pitta, whereas Anubandha dosha there may be either Kapha or Vata, or otherwise Vata or Kapha that may be taking place. Suppose if the person is going to consume along with the gobi Manchurian, he is going to take the curds or dadhi. With this amount of dadhi if he is consuming, then we are going to expect the dosha kopa here could be pitta as well as kapha dosha, because this is having the guru guna, and when you think about the quantity it is comparatively much more. In that way there may be the dosha kopa may be pitta and kapha, but here the doshantara kopa that is going to take place could be vata dosha, because of the Katu Rasa, which is having the Vayu Mahabhuta as the one of the ingredient for the Katu Rasa substances. In that way, so here the Doshantara Kopa may be Vata. Another example let us take. Let us take the Ruksha Bhojana as such as an example. So what may be the impact of this particular Ruksha Bhojana? When a person is going to take this much amount of the Ruksha Bhojana, so here the example is what you say that the poha as such, that means that is going to get accumulated in the stomach for the certain time period, and this amount of the ruksha ahara, the amount of the poha consumption, that is actually deciding the movement of the food, the fluid from the intravascular compartment into the alimentary canal. So if the person is going to take more amount of the water along with the particular poha, there may be little amount of the water that is going to transfer from intravascular compartment to stomach. If the person is going to take very little amount of the water, so that will be leading to the more amount of the water that is moving from intravascular compartment to alimentary canal. This is what is considered to be the Shoshana karma. If the person is going to take more amount of the ruksha ahara, more fluid that will be moving from the capillaries of the stomach as such into the alimentary canal. So this is actually resulting in the reduction in the volume of intravascular compartment. This is the actual impact of ruksha bhojana as such. Let us take another example. If the person is exposed to ruksha and shitala vata in the winter season, what actually happens is that may be responsible for the more amount of the water that may move from the body to the exterior. So here the dosha kopa that may be observed, it could be vata dosha, that too this may be observed in the tvak region. Whereas if the person is going to consume the dahi at this particular juncture, of course there will be the shoshana effect that is going to take place, that is fluid that will be moving from the body to the exterior, that is taking place, but the consumption of dahi actually responsible for the increase of the kapha in the inside the body as such. So here the dosha kopa will be vata, whereas doshantara kopa will be kapha. As far as the context of the Anubandha and Anubandha dosha, so this actually highlights the importance of Dosha Kopa and Doshantara Kopa. It says, Charaka Vimana 6th chapter, Tatra Anubandha Krito Visheshaha Swatantro Vyaktalingo Va Yathokt Samuthana Prashamo Bhavati Anubandhyaha Tadu Viparita Lakshanastu Anubandhaha Anubandhya Lakshana Samanvitaha Tatra Yadi Dosha Bhavanti Tat Trikam Sannipatamachakshate Dvayam Va Samsargam Anubandhyanubandha Visheshakritastu Bahuvido Dosho Bhedah एवं एष संज्ञा प्रकृतो विषजां दोषेषु व्याधिषु च नाना प्रकृति विशेष व्यूहः स्वतंत्र इत्यस्यैव विवरणम्. So it is the context of the swatantra as such, the description vyaktalinga iti, that is Chakrapani commentary, yathokt samuthana prashama iti swahetu samuthitah swachikitsayava prashamaniyaha. So here this is what is considered to be the dosha kopa as such. So here there will be the specific dosha nidana, dosha prakopaka nidana, plus there will be the description of the specific dosha prakopa lakshana or dosha vriddhi lakshana, which will be getting relieved after taking the specific treatment for that particular dosha prakopa. Kim va swatantra iti anenapi swavikarkarane pradhanyamuchyate swatantro hi doshah prakopakale vikaran karoti. So that is swatantra dosha, that is independent dosha, or what we can say the dosha kopa. So that will be responsible for the manifestation of the diseases during the abnormal vitiation. Whereas aswatantrastu swatantra prakopakala eva vikara pradhana dosheritah san karoti. So that is aswatantrastu, that is what is considered to be the doshantara kopa. So wherein that will be mainly depending upon the main dosha that is going to get vitiated in the body. Example, Sharadi Shleshma Pitta Hetuna Jaladi Amla Vipakena Janyate Saja Pitta Chikitsa Eva Tikta Sarpiradikaya Kafe Api Anugunataya Shamyati Dvayam Va Anubandhya Lakshanam Pratam Samsarga Machakshata Iti Yojana. So here it is being mentioned, if the kapha dosha is going to get increased because of the pitta jakarana, that too in Sharad Ritu, that can happen because of the amla vipaka etc. of the jala. Of course, this is going to get cured by the pitta shamaka chikitsa such as tikta sarpi etc. This will be responsible for the pacification of the kapha dosha. The factors that influences the doshantara kopa are, that may be the prakriti of the individual. Either it may be a vataja prakriti or pittaja prakriti or kafaja prakriti. So that may be of the varying proportion. Sometimes the vata prakriti may be of 80%, sometimes vata prakriti may be of 60%, 20%, etc. Along with that, manasa prakriti, sattvika prakriti, rajasika prakriti and tamasika prakriti. They are actually deciding the, again, doshantara kopa as well as dosha kopa. Plus, the quality of the food consumed in terms of rasa, guna, virya, etc. For example, if the person is going to consume katu, amla and lavana rasa substances, naturally, so that will be responsible for the abnormal increase of primary as the pitta dosha, anubandha dosha, that could be kapha dosha as such, that is going to take place. Suppose if the person is going to consume rukshala ahara, so that will be responsible for the abnormal increase of vata dosha in the mahasrotas. Suppose if the person is exposed to the ruksha guna yukta vata, so that will be responsible for the abnormal increase of vata dosha in the tvak region. In that way, the quality of the nidana sevana, that is going to decide the doshantara kopa. Third aspect, the entry of the pathogens. from the Bahya Srotas or Abhyantara Srotas. We are knowing 9 Bahya Srotas in males and 12 Bahya Srotas in females, and 13 Abhyantara Srotas as per Charaka and 11 pairs as per Sushruta. Entry of the Nidana or pathogens through these Bahya or Abhyantara Srotas are also deciding the dominance of Doshantara Kopa. Timing of the consumption of food. For example, Ruksha Guna Yukta Ahara at the beginning of the Ahara Sevana, or at the middle of the Ahara Sevana, or at the end of the Ahara Sevana, that is also deciding the Doshantara Kopa. Plus, the person where he is going to reside, maybe the Jangara Desha or Anupadesha or Sadharana Desha, that is also deciding the Doshantara Kopa. Physical strength of the individual. If he is physically strong or weak, that is also helps in the determination of the Dosha Kopa and Doshantara Kopa. Plus, if you look into these particular textbooks, even many more examples can be put forth to determine the Dosha Kopa and Doshantara Kopa. To sum up, the term Doshantara Kopa refers to Doshantaramapi Tatra Anubalam Bhavatyasya. So that is different from the Dosha Kopa, wherein Dosha Kopa is having the Pravarabala, whereas Doshantara Kopa that is having the Anubala. It is also being explained in Ashtanga Hridaya, Doshantarasya Anubandhatvam. That is, the Doshantara is having the Anubandhata when you compare about the Dosha Kopa, which is considered to be Anubandhya. Doshantara Kopa can be attributable to either associated with the other Rasa or Guna or Viruddha Ahara or Viruddha Vihara, etc. Of course, these Doshantara Kopa, they may have no symptom at all, or there may be a possibility of poorly manifested Lakshana that can be observed. So that means, these are responsible for the manifestation of Anubandha, or otherwise which is considered to be a synonym of Upadrava. That's all for the today. What are the major key takeaways from today's discussion? Mention in the comment box below. And what is the one video that you'd like to hear in the coming days in this particular channel? Mention in the comment box below. And spread this particular video to maximum number of true Nidana learners so that we can make a huge movement out of this particular small message. Don't forget, press the bell icon so the YouTube algorithms will be fetching you the right information for the right purpose at the right time. Thank you.